Yo, yo. Happy April 20th, 2026. This is the Walk and Talk podcast, essentially. Oh, somebody dropped their library tag. Maybe I can bring that to the library and it can get returned to their owner. So here we are, April 20. Powerful day. It's my favorite man's birthday, Sir Adolf Hit. Just kidding, dude. Relax. 420, what an interesting day. Used to be a very popular day in my youth, back when marijuana was still illegal. Used to be a day where a few of us teens would be a little bit stoked and hear some lore and some stories about how people would gather downtown. Cops wouldn't even arrest you because there's so many people in so many numbers smoking weed. So that was cool, man. That was a cool time. It's great that it's legal now, but the problem is that hold on a second, let me put this aside for a second. I gotta do my coat up, man. It's a bit chilly out here. So the problem with it being legal now and regulated and whatnot is, like, you know, you're not getting that organic weed. You're not getting that natural, made with love weed. I mean, you can find that stuff, but it's more expensive. It's not, you know, if I could have things my way, the only thing that I would have on the shelf if a product is regulated is some organic, you know, raised with as few chemicals and pesticides and you know, low quality regulation or low quality maintenance. I would have the most minimum possible would be the standard, because I mean, this substance is like any other substance, psychoactive, and I just know from my own personal lived experience that when you're trying to get your life together and when you're trying to become a healthy, happy, productive, balanced person, clear your own karma and trauma and whatnot, that these substances are not something to just be, you know, it's like playing with fire. They gotta be delicate with your mind and your body. You know, build up a tolerance, build up a strength, and it's good to, like, work on yourself sober. And you know, personally, I'm the proof. I'm the embodied proof from my own experiences that, you know, you can be super high on life without substance. Like, you can achieve that again. Any person can achieve that again if you've gone without, or if you've had it and lost it. Like, it's possible, man. And you might have years in your life that go by where you lose your belief and you lose your hope. You know, that's what happened to me. I was holding on to a microcosm of hope my whole life, because I had to endure many years of suffering in order to get my life and myself in good standing. You know, I had to be the guy who distanced himself from friends and family. That'd be the guy who distanced himself from a lot of people who were just very judgmental and not careful. But a lot of those people, they went, they treated things more recklessly and they got more reckless results. I mean, that's just what happened. So, in your life, it's good to be gentle in your healing of yourself. Very cautious, very careful. You got one big shot at this life to master yourself and to rise to a supreme standard of health and consciousness. So don't fuck it up. Do not do not play foolishly with fire and chemicals, with your brain and with yourself. But understand too, don't be afraid if you have, don't be let down, or don't have any shame or guilt or fear for whatever you have done to this point. Because the body is a miraculous healing organism. Far more miraculous than a doctor or anybody would ever tell you. Your body is a supreme unit of intelligence. How do you think you got here? How do you think you yourself got here? It's because you carry with you the essence of the universe within your body. Every organ, everything living in symbiosis, The several dozen glands, organs, and functions, all working in unison, all developing over thousands of years. From trial and error and fight and ancestral battle, destruction, success, victory. We stand on the shoulders of giants and we take it for granted because, we have a mechanism within us that always looks at things like, oh man, my life ain't good enough, dude. The guy next to me, my neighbor, the person I'm aspiring to be, has all these results. My hero's got all these results and I don't. And I don't know how to get there, and I don't know what the blueprint is. And no one's really coming out and saying it. No one's really coming out and guiding me very well. Listen, that's okay. And that is part of life for now. And that is something, that I'm aiming to try to bridge the gap for these people as much as I can find with my own content, with expression of my own life experiences. I'm trying to bridge the gap for you so you don't have to suffer, man. There are ways, there are shortcuts. They are out there, dude. They can be a challenge to find when you're breaking away from the herd to be exceptional. Every person becoming exceptional and different and unique and, becoming very different and having to face a lot of fears and having to face a lot of unique feelings that are different from other people in your journey. Exceptional people throughout history are the ones that change the world. It's not the person necessarily that is just like everybody else. In order to break from the herd, it requires being different from everybody else. And in order to be different from everybody else, you have to be able to face the feelings, the doubts that will arise. Because something has to test you to really see if you're about it, man, to really see if you can handle it. You know, if you want to be exceptional, you have to be able to handle pressure. You have to be able to handle holding opinions and thoughts and beliefs and ideas that are very different from everybody else, that are very unique. You got to be able to wrestle with responsibility and pressure and responsibility ultimately. And if you really want to keep boiling it down, like, you got to be able to wrestle with negative energy, and you have to be seeking it out. You can't be avoiding it. You can't be trying to escape it. And you're gonna want to escape it, just like anyone else in history. All these great people who have achieved things, all your heroes, I bet you all of them have had to handle pressure, face pressure, not avoid pressure, not avoid their truth. Couldn't escape, had to face what their path was all about. And I know it's hard. And that's okay. You know, take a deep breath in. Take another one. Yes, it's a challenge. It's challenging. And you might be scared, you know, and sometimes you can be scared for an era of your lifetime, years. For me, ages 16 onward, man, 16 to 30, we're having to deal with a lot of doubt and fear, because the only person I had believing in myself to the degree and to the magnitude that I did was only me. And because I refused to sell the idea and refused to sell the belief, I just couldn't. If other people, if it was whatever else is possible in the world, if others could, so could I. Well, that's what, you know, unfortunately, in my painful growing pains, I had to separate myself from others in order to hold on to that. And it hurt, man. You know, it hurt. But I'm here to be the embodied proof, you know, to you, and the embodied truth that it is worth believing in yourself big. And I'm hoping that I can just be the standard and the example to show you that you can trust the process of believing in yourself. And I'm hoping, just the ultimate goal, you know, to make meaning out of my own pain and suffering, is to continue to share just as I am now, in hopes that it will, you know, things will resonate, that you can take something from my journey and save your own self many years of time by taking something from my journey and applying it to your own life. So that's the best case scenario. That's all I could hope for in the, you know, transmission of my self-expression, of my messages, and my little walking and talking podcast here. You know, in order to really help people, and in order to, you know, be consistent in it, you have to do it for you. If you're living a life where you're doing everything for other people and you're kind of putting yourself last, or yourself is not really included too much in the process, and you might, you know, rationally think that it is for you, because you're like, well, I love people. I find meaning in, you know, raising up and bringing up and helping and assisting my friends, family, whatnot. So that to me is like, this is for me. It's what I want. Yes, that can be true. But the importance, you know, where I got stuck with that and confused with that, wrestling with that, is like, you have to be feeling good in the process. You have to be serving yourself too in the process. Like, for example, I'm serving everybody here on this with this content, but I'm serving myself utmostly in a way, because the expression of this is what is so freeing to me. It's what is so healing to me. I spent a lot of years silent. I spent a lot of years in pain and suffering, silent, with expression issues, with no places to vent, with a lot of fear of consequence or retribution, or, fear of somebody hitting me with, thinking that I'm stupid, or thinking that I'm not enough, or showing me that I'm not enough, other people's emotional reactions to me being myself, to me being a strong, firm, no excuse type of man. That triggers people. That's just how things work. That's how life works. Because when there's a condition of the human beings where we keep each other down because of the strength and power of fears versus the strength and power of love, and I can't even tell you, out of my own compassion and love for people, and trying to bring people up and hold space for them, and validate their existence, and not have them suffer like I did. Instead of being reactionary and aggressive and creating all these boundaries and telling people to fuck off and standing up for myself, I suppressed myself. I suppressed myself to keep myself safe, a lot of my life. And that's fine. There's a natural thing and a great utility involved in that process, even though it is quite it is quite repressive, and it is quite suppressive, and it is quite painful when gone out of balance for a long time. It is quite painful. It is quite, it leads to disease. It leads to decay. The opposite of suppression is depression, the opposite of expression is depression. So, but yeah, it was a journey of mine that taught me a lot. In my years of quiet, my years of patience and my years of humility, that is the state of being that makes you the most receptive. If I had some big, overconfident, overbearing ego, where I think I know all the answers and I'm perfect right out the gate, so what am I going to be learning? If I'm in a state of non-receptiveness, what am I going to be absorbing? What am I going to be? Well, what's going to be the driving force that makes me examine things so deeply and so strenuously? Well, that's what humility, and that's what the lack and stuff that I carried for years. That's the gift of what it gave me. It pushed me to be certain about the things that I talk about. It pushed me to be certain about the things that I believe in. It pushed me to be damn well certain in the game, in the reality, in the world that I'm playing in. Not just trusting and having faith in, what my father, my mother, or what someone at church, or what teacher at a school is saying to me. And I'm finding out for myself. And it's a hard road. But a road that is hard is the one that bears all the fruit that the easy road could never bear. But I'm here to share that with you guys, because what makes my life meaningful to me and satisfies my soul is sharing everything I've ever learned.